Am I on the right screen? Yes. Am I able to look at that screen too?
Do you want to see the same thing up there?
Yeah.
I've been seeing more nursing shows.
Oh, that one just.
Super thanks.
Can I just click on this?
I got this. Yeah, and that's okay.
Michael. Yeah. That's he's the inspector, right? Oh. We're the same age. Yeah. Oh, two.
Yeah.
Before you were born? Thanks. Thanks a lot, Alan. That makes me feel old. So you can't have any of the alcohol in the room then.
I met. Tells us beyond. You were.
There's some back there. What? Oh. All right, well, we'll get started, I think. Is this about everyone?
I mean,
And you are recording?
it's been on, then
Okay. Sorry, I don't like to stand up when I do these things, so if you can't hear me or want to see me more, just yell. You don't count. That's my wife, for those of you that don't know us. So I'm David. I know maybe half of you in this room. From like on a name basis, or have even really met half of you, probably. So I'm the operating principal for the two offices now. And so I kind of oversee and present some of the vision and help kind of these guys do everything that they do on a day-to-day basis from the back end of things. So we had a shareholders meeting down in Texas a couple weeks ago, where I went down there, met with a bunch of the other people that have the same role as me inside of KW. Spent a couple of days. She's having a baby. So went down, had a shareholder meeting down there, brought back some good ideas, how brokerage is changing in general over the last couple of years in general, and how it's changed from 20 plus years back, and kind of what it means to be a brokerage, what agents want out of a brokerage anymore, kind of all that fun stuff. So with that, we got permission to do some things from the international level that we've been wanting to do for the last couple of years anyways. And then two, some ideas on how we can kind of do some things differently that benefit the agents in particular, but also benefit the brokerage and everyone else around all of those agents also. So I wanted to put together so I got with Bruce and Mark, who couldn't make it tonight, and then some of the back end team members, just to kind of kick some ideas around, have them help me tell me where they thought it was stupid. And so we've kind of cleaned it up a little bit and wanted to make it a smaller invite only group out of our, I don't want to call you all younger, but newly licensed agent pool. So I had Bruce go through and make recommendations on who he thought were some of the most talented in that group, who he thought could potentially do what we're talking about doing, and that kind of have the vision to see some of that in our kind of, I wouldn't say hungry necessarily. You can chime in if you want whenever, but.
yeah, no, I mean, you guys were hand selected, through a lot of different thought. I know for a fact there'll be some of you guys here today that will absolutely not be, not understand some of it. I know some of you guys will have questions afterwards and all of that. But the reality is that the market that we're in is changing all the time. And one of the best things that I ever did to myself was get into model faster than everybody else. You guys know my story. I didn't sell a house for 9 months. David looked at me and said, KW is offering the basically allowing the market center to do what he's been wanting to do for a number of years. The agents like myself and others, I'm not sitting here to toot my horn, but if you get in model quick, you learn how to balance the budget quick, which means you put more money into your business to have it grow quicker. The quicker that you guys can catch on to that model, the better off you'll be 2 to 3 years from now. Is it painful? Yes. However, for any of you guys that aren't in model, is it painful?
Yes.
Yes. Right? So no matter what model you're in or out of, it's painful. I believe that you guys all have the strengths and characteristics that I've had one-on-ones with you guys for. You guys have that desire, that common consistent place of hunger, yet let some common sense and some smarts. And, you guys only have very few things in your way from crushing it. And so, yeah, that's why you guys are here to pick this apart with us, to help us with it. We haven't told them what it is. I'm like, I don't want to spill it.
So there's kind of two parts to this meeting. One, it's because we think you guys are a talented group and we want to make this some of a mindset mastermind, just to kind of expand your mindsets, what you think you can and can't do in real estate or in life in general. And then two, offer you some potential partnership with KW on how to do that on a larger scale. So that's kind of where we're going with all of this. I want everyone to be perfectly clear that if you decide this is not something that you want to do, it won't be held against you. We have no hard feelings there. We don't probably want all of you to do it in reality. And it won't change anything that the office does or provides to you in that manner. It's more, we think you guys can benefit from this, and we want to kind of plug in more and deeper with you guys to help kind of create that next generation of the big time realtors in Northern Colorado and the big time wealth builders and big time thinkers and givers and all of that fun stuff. You wouldn't be in here if we didn't think that you had the capacity to handle it at some point down the road. But again, understand that if you decide you don't want to do any of this, it's not going to hurt my feelings. It's not going to hurt his feelings. And it's your business. Do what you want with it. So again, a lot of this is just to kind of work on some mindset, think bigger. So I wanted to kind of start with, there's some paper and stuff in there you can take notes on or write on, or just write on whatever in there. I don't really care. Wanted to kind of start with, and Bruce can do it too, if you want to do it on the board. Write down a number that you think would make you happy to make in 2023. If anyone needs pens or anything, yell. We might have some extras laying up. You can use mine if you need to. I probably got an extra one. So right next to that year. Everyone done that? Does anybody have a bigger number than Bruce?
Yeah,
Yeah. What's your number?
2 million.
Cool. Good.
I mean,
Well, that's a number that scares me a little bit in the anticipation of trying to get there. It's a little daunting, obviously, but that's a dream and a goal of mine.
2 million in commissions or sales?
Either.
Are we getting specific? Take it.
It's what do you want to make in 2023? What's a number that you would feel happy with? So now I want you to cross out year and write month. Now look at your number. Do you think you can do that? Does that scare you a little bit more? Now cross out month and write week.
Did you have an extra pen?
I don't.
You did. Thank you.
Everyone, did you get one?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Now, would anyone think that they can do that on their number in a week?
Through intentional discipline.
Now cross out week and write day. Does anybody think that they can do what their number is in a day?
Before I die.
So somebody throw out a number. What's your number? 300K, 500,000, 150K. So I want all of you to kind of understand, the only reason we're doing this is because there are people out there that are making that number in a day. There's actually quite a few of them. I think there's something around 8,200 billionaires in the world. And statistically, most of them are making that number or more a day. So just to think about, it's possible. Just because you don't think it's possible now, doesn't mean it's not possible. But what we want you to get to start doing is, okay, let's set the plan for the year. Now, how do we push to make that in a month? Once we can make that in a month, how do we push to make that in a week? It's just about building wealth. It's about being intentional around your mindset of money isn't a bad thing. I can make that much money and I can do a lot of good or bad things with that, hopefully good. But there's a lot of influence that comes with some of that. So again, a super basic exercise, but I want you to understand that. And I don't know how to put this nicely. I'm a pretty blunt person.
Yeah, let me introduce David. Those of you who have taken a DISC profile class, he is a type A or high D and a C, data analytical. So if you know anything about this profile, no emotion, very data driven, very to the point, very blunt, but also cares but doesn't know how to show, right? He wouldn't have a wife and 3 kids I'll leave Cooper out. He wouldn't have a wife and 4 kids if he wasn't a human and had some emotion, right? But he's not going to show it. Okay. The goals that he has for himself. You got a slide for that? You want to share? Okay. Well, yeah, blow your face off kind of goals. But yeah, he's a pretty humble guy. Awesome. Do not be afraid to reach out to him. But he also know that he sets his life in a priority way. If your request isn't fall in that priority, it's going to be taking a second to give back. That's why he has people like me in his world to leverage what he's doing and where he's at. All right. And share. Yeah.
So some of that to say, if this is something that is interesting to you as we kind of get into this, or this is something that you think you want to get involved with, understand that I will be involved with some of this, particularly when it comes to the wealth building mindset kind of vision piece of it. That's just how my brain works. I mean, he'll tell you my brain even right now is working on things 5 years from now, which is good sometimes and not so good sometimes.
That's all he thinks in, guys. 3 to 5 years from now. So whatever your question, if your question is a day-to-day here and now, the answer that will come out of his mouth may not be what you want to see, or may not be something you can even fathom, because he took your question and compounded it over the next 5 years to understand whether that question is even important or not. That's actually good.
And she can tell you that it drives her insane sometimes, because we'll be having a conversation about something and now we're talking about something completely different. Just because I've just been building it out in a conversation basically in my head. But again, all that to say that I think like that, I'm very blunt and to the point. If this is something that you guys decide you do want to do, there is a high probability that I will hurt your feelings or say something that you don't like in the next however long this relationship lasts. So full disclaimer, they know it, they know how to deal with it, but not everything I say is rosy and sunny and like.
It's maybe a better person and age.
So Sorry, and again, just because a lot of you don't know me, and I just want to make sure that if I say something today really blunt to the point, or start talking about something differently than what you asked me the question on, it's not, I'm not trying to do that. That's just how it works sometimes. Sometimes. So some of the goals for me out of this today for you guys are kind of to understand your own value and to just start thinking differently and bigger about what life is and what a business is and a career is and what money is. Oh, that's what I forgot. I think I left them at home, those sheets that I showed you.
Well, you had me copy.
No, the little the Drum Monkey and Aha sheets.
You left them at home.
I left them at home.
Right. I had them here.
They weren't all
I know, but I took them home. No, so I had some, I was gonna have you guys just on the tables where you could write stuff down. If you have anything as we're going through this, that is a limiting belief, I guess. Just raise your hand or come up and write it on the board so that we can work through it as a group, because I'm sure you're probably not the only one having that thought at the time.
Yeah, I'll write it down.
And or if you have something, an aha or kind of a mind opening, world widening thought, feel free to share it. This is meant to be of value to you guys, not just for me to sit up here and talk the whole time. But our goals for the day are to expand your mindsets, your horizons and ideas of what a big life can be, to increase your knowledge of business, money, wealth, and net worth, to help you understand how and why, to increase your sources of income and wealth creation, and to get you excited to leave a lasting legacy for your family and your community. So on that topic, let's just have a quick conversation around I just want to kind of get a feel for the room. What do you guys consider as being, what is your definition of rich, or what is your definition of wealthy? What does that look like to you guys?
I guess.
Like right now, I'm trying to create 8 streams of income so I can cut my nursing job, but that's like, well.
Okay.
Isn't rich just like having a lot of money on you, I guess? Or like owning cars, whatever.
Cammy.
Wealth could be like a long-term thing, like if you own real estate or you have a business you run, you got money like saved up, you don't spend all your money, you invest in it, I guess.
Smart investment. Go ahead, no,
All it means to me right now is no worries financially.
Mine's kind of along the same lines, do what you want when you want.
Cool. I like that. That's more what I would consider a wealthy person. Kind of what my standard definition of being rich is making more money than you spend in a year. My definition of wealth is making more money is receiving more income than you make in a year without working for it. You see that, just that slight twist in what the difference between somebody that's rich. I know a lot of rich people that work 22 hours a day and are miserable.
would that be like the difference between like assets and liabilities?
Yeah, some.
You have to be smart about investing it in stuff that will help grow your wealth. Right.
And there's, we won't get into this much today, but there are good liabilities and there are bad liabilities. It's not every loan is a bad loan. Not every liability on your net worth sheet or whatever, on your personal financial statement is a bad thing. I know plenty of people that have over $100,000 a month in mortgage payments. Might make some of you vomit, but it's nice having the 200,000 a month in income on the other side of that. Like there's a balance. Like if you have 100,000 in zero revenue, that's not a great balance, obviously. But some of what we'll learn through some of this, all these partnerships and some of this stuff is just a better understanding of what money is, how kind of the financial system and how money works, and what levers to pull inside of some of that to make it really make the game work in the best favor it can for you guys. That is some of what potentially I bring to the table on that, is just having experience in a lot of that. So again, when he was talking about big goals, I do have that. So, and Britt can attest to this. This was I think these were my goals that I made when I was 12. I wanted to own a mega yacht and I want to own the Rockies. Those have always been my life goals. She knows it. So that boat cost $800 million. And that baseball team has a value of about 1.7 billion right now. So when you're talking big picture goals and like, don't be afraid to throw out a big number or talk to me about something big, because that's just where my brain goes and that's what I'm going for. So, and I operate now in a lot of circles with people that can write the checks for those things. Which again, I don't know why I want a mega yacht, because I get seasick and I wouldn't even get to ride them. Always wanted one. Maybe.
If it's big enough, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Waves impacted.
When they're that big,
Oh,
yeah,
so it's gonna be bigger than cruise.
I don't know why I want that. Yeah, you get seasick too? Oh, yeah. I can fly out, no worries, but it's boats for some reason. We'll just park it at the dock and that's when I'll get it. So again, just a couple of mindset shifts things. So it's 7 paradigm shifts of wealthy. If you've sat through any of my classes, you've probably seen this a few times. But this is kind of how wealthy people think compared to the rest of the general population. So more is better than less. That one's pretty self-explanatory. Sooner is better than later. More sooner is best. Cash makes cash. Equity makes cash. Movement of money will make you money. And leveraging people is the ultimate goal. So what we want to do in a lot of this partnership is get you guys to start operating and thinking like that from a business perspective. If we can close more houses sooner, we're going to make more money faster, which means we can invest sooner, which means we compound our net worth sooner. Our business gets worth more money sooner. Start thinking in those kind of steps and in those ideas. And what we do for people is help them move money from asset to asset. We make money based off the movement of money. That's what a salesperson does realistically. I know at least a few of you were in other types of sales in previous lives, and that should make sense to you. But what that means is the more and larger amounts of money you move around, the more you'll make off of moving that money around. And then leveraging people is the ultimate goal. So a lot of where the struggle will come, if this is something you guys decide to do or sign up for, a lot of the struggle that everyone has in this, and my wife is also an example of this, is leveraging people is really hard to do. It's not always fun. It's not always easy. These two will laugh at it, but people are stupid. And the more of them you have in your business world, the more stupid you're going to run into sometimes. So it's not always fun, but that is the ultimate goal. And that is really how you make money, like build true wealth and make a lot of money, is leveraging other people to do the things that you don't want to do. Does that all make questions on any of that? Does that all?
Because I liked it. Good idea.
Can I just say that? Your little this thing about you? Okay. What's her? No, not getting an Enneagram. No. Different meetings.
Number one.
Yes, it is. Just shh. Stop. Don't talk longer.
No, we're different.
So anyways, you're taking this meeting off track. Anyways, so what my wife has always struggled with in our business is, why would I hire somebody else and train somebody else to do this? I can do it faster and better. That is a mental philosophy that I want and understand. I want you guys to understand that is not how you build a business, and that's not how you ever really make a big amount of money doing things, even if it is true.
I think I got a good example too. For those of you that are on your first couple of transactions, transaction coordinator, no transaction coordinator. Right? It's a matter of where is your time, where's your highest and best use of time? What's up?
So I was a transaction coordinator for lots of different teams over my years, and I thought I can do this. It's no problem. I'll do it for myself. I could not live without my transaction coordinator because you can be doing so many other things with that time. Seriously. It's just,
There will be the minds out there that want to go through the transaction and learn it and do those things. But at the end of the day, once that's learned, I can tell you that you're choosing about a $15 an hour job when you could be taking those same exact hours, making $250 to $300 an hour. I had that epiphany, guys. If you guys know me, I don't like to spend money at all. And a TC is something I'm not gonna sell them this, but I'll pay $750 for.
Thanks. Good to know. Good to know. No, just another way to think of that is when let's say you go on a listing appointment. It's an hour, let's call it an hour, some of you longer, some of us shorter. I think what my average listing appointments back when I used to do them were like 25 minutes. Yeah. And yours are about 2.5 hours. So, go on a listing appointment, you sign the listing, you've got the house listed. What's your commission that you just made realistically? Our average commission in the offices is $16,600 roughly. You just spent an hour of your time, maybe call it 5 hours lead generating for that listing appointment, but you spent an hour of your time making $16,000. Why can't we get it through our head that we could go take the 20 hours of process work that we're doing to get the deal closed, pay some other company $400 or $500 to do that, and go find one more $16,000 job in that 20 hours. That is some of the math and some of the thought philosophy that we'll work on with all of you guys. Because again, it's not easy. She still struggles with it. I still struggle with it. Bruce still struggles with it. It's just what it is. Yeah. You're good on the TC side now, but just thinking more like a business owner and what gives you the greatest return for your investment. Because you can invest two things. You can invest time or you can invest money. If you don't have money, you got to invest time. So why not put it to the greatest return you can get it on? So this, okay, I don't know if this is in your book. I think I actually added this picture after I printed off the slides. But it is in the back insert if you want this. So Keller Williams overall, in general, this is kind of their experience. This is kind of what Keller Williams does to help you guys as kind of newly licensed or thinking about getting into real estate agents and people, how they help you along that way. This is from sales to running a business to growing that business to partnering on ancillary businesses and then creating an exit strategy around that. That's in there. They have classes and stuff. That's what FRPC is working on doing and getting you up and going, all of that stuff. What we're talking about doing in the partnership model is spending more one-on-one time with a smaller group of you guys locally, diving in and doing this at a more molecular level instead of you guys having to chase it all down and figure it all out. It's how can the office use its resources and people to pour into you guys to get you to these places faster. So that's kind of where we're going with that. So what we've created is kind of a Keller business partnership model. What we would like to do is create the next wave of millionaire entrepreneurs and investors inside of the real estate industry in Northern Colorado. Again, stop me if you have questions at any point, or if anything is confusing to you, let me know, I'll explain it. But you guys are in this room because you were nominated to be as a candidate with the potential to be one of these. Again, I want you to understand not everybody in here is going to want to be one. Not everyone in here that wants to be one is going to make it. This is not going to be an easy thing. Sometimes it's hard and sometimes it's not fun. And nobody ever has a 100% success rate in doing anything. That's just the reality of things. And I don't want to feel like I'm selling you something that I can't uphold our end of. Not all of you will make it through this. So kind of what that means is we're offering to partner with you. We want to help you create and run $1 million business. We want to expand your mindsets, horizons, and ideas of what a big life can be. We want to increase your knowledge of business, money, wealth, and net worth. We want to diversify your sources of income and wealth creation, and prepare you to leave a lasting legacy for your family and for the community. So what we are committing to is we are committing to help you get your business to a GCI average of $45,000 a month within 18 months. It's not a random number. That's 36 units a year, realistic, or really close to 36 units a year. we're committing to getting you set up, running, and doing the activities that will close you 3 houses a month. We're gonna help you set up and operate your business in the most legal and tax advantageous ways. We've got our CPR and bookkeeping partnership lined up and ready to go on that. There is a sample kind of P&L from the tax perspective in that, the back insert there also. If you kind of want to understand what that looks like and what we'll start working towards with you guys. We want to help you develop your yearly business plan and the tracking of it. Again, this is going to be a group that has a high level of coaching and accountability with us and with whoever else decides to be in that group. We want you guys to be able to hold each other accountable as well and understand that all of us are rowing the boat in the same direction and going through all the same struggles and challenges at times. We're going to provide you high-level coaching based off MRE budgets and models. There is a stack of these up here. If you do not have one yet, grab one. They're free as a gift for coming tonight. If you do have one, don't take one. But if you don't have one, grab one. A lot of what we're going to be doing and talking about in our group coaching and all that stuff is based off of the models and systems that are in that book. I'm sure you probably got hit over the head hearing about a lot of the stuff in this book from those guys. But again, it's building the right foundation to create a business that's sustainable. We'll help you hire and maintain proper bookkeeping and CPA relationships. We'll help in growing a business through leverage right from the start. We will allow the group that signs up for this participation in the couple of new lead generation sources the office is developing and implementing starting in 2023. And I'll get into those here in a little bit. We will provide you opportunities and pathways to invest in other revenue sources and grow and manage your wealth. Again, a lot of it is going to be around, okay, now you're making money. What are you doing with it? One, if you don't own a house, that's the first thing we're putting on your list. Own your own real estate. Don't rent. Don't pay somebody else. Do you need that $52,000? They're probably not $52,000 anymore, but a Lexus outside. Can you get away with something for $40,000 and put that somewhere else for now? A lot of that type of stuff. Because what happens traditionally, especially with salespeople, they get a big check and they go and buy big things and then they don't have any money left. And they continue to do that until they're 85 and the grumpiest realtors in Longmont. Not speaking about anybody in particular, but there's a few of them out there.
Learn out fast.
And then we'll provide opportunities and pathways to invest in causes that you are passionate about. So like, for instance, Mark with his veteran stuff that he does, Sherry with her single mom stuff in Kenya, correct? Just single moms are doing, you're not expanding that yet. It's my wife with a lot of foster and adoption stuff. It's what are you passionate about? How do we help you make a bigger impact in that part of your life as well? So that's kind of what we're committing to dive in and pour in and really help you kind of get to where you want to go on a finish line basis. And then we'll move the finish line once you reach it. So on the coaching side, we want you guys to be able to commit to coaching. That'll include one-on-one bi-weekly coaching meetings with probably Mark or Bruce. We'll see there. We're still working on that. Weekly group accountability coaching. That will be more specifically about your numbers, what you did during the week, what you struggled to hit or not hit. That'll be led by him. Quarterly business coaching, which will be a one-on-one with me. Quarterly wealth building and coaching. That'll kind of be a combined meeting. Obviously, those two together, and that'll be with me. These guys will sit in on some of that sometimes, but that'll be kind of more of a one-on-one conversation with us. Yearly business development, coaching and planning. That'll be probably as a big group. We'll do like what are those called?
A yearly business.
It's like a retreat. That's the word I was thinking. Sorry. That'll be probably like a group retreat where we get together for a day in a room and we start hashing out business plans all together and kind of get on that page. And then that'll include yearly tax prep and planning. How do you set your business up correctly? How do you code stuff correctly? What are you putting money in or not putting money in based on how much money you've made for the year so that you don't have to pay it to the government? A lot of that stuff. So business development we will commit to helping you develop your 411, which again, unless you're, I don't know, is there any brand new ones in the room? Yes. Brand, okay. So if you don't know what a 411 is, most of you have probably gotten beat over the head with that one already too by him. But that's kind of our basic tracking sheet that we use for that. So it'll be helping you guys develop your 411 and holding yourself accountable to that. Coaching you to run a business, not have it run you. We have some of our top producers in the offices that struggle with that one mightily. It'll include database management, touch system and drip campaign management, event management, if you do events or want to do events, your marketing and TC management, helping you leverage things, and then bookkeeping and CPA services. Again, these things aren't free, but we're going to coach you how to run and set up a business so that these things are in a budget model that you can feel comfortable writing those checks and doing those things. We're not rewriting something. We're just following what everyone else wrote for us.
Essentially, there are things that we should be doing, but or since we're so new, we haven't expanded there yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and again, why we're talking about doing this is because how many, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, there's roughly 15 of you in here. Statistically, by June, 2 of you will still be here. That's the industry standard. 87% of new licenses are gone in 6 months. It's not that you can't do it, it's that you don't. What we want to do is right out of the gate, get you doing what you're supposed to be doing to give you the best chance to not be one of the 88%. And you're the group out of the 250 in the office that we think can show a model to everyone else.
So let's take a pause real quick. And an aha. So an aha is not what?
Agent.
Agents helping agents.
An ahas are your light bulb moments. So if there's something that we've said today that you've kind of resonated with or said, oh my gosh, that's an aha moment. And then a drunk monkey. This is your conscious, your devil and your angel time talking to yourself and trying to figure out what you're going to do or how you can't do it. So who in here had any drunk monkeys or aha moments? What are you guys talking about? What are some things that we've talked about that have turned your head, you don't understand, you need to sit with for a second?
Like I got my drunk monkey is around those systems. I've always just been, and that's my thing. I have always been terrible with systems. That's my drunk monkey.
So your drunk monkey is, do I have the capability of following these systems?
Correct. Yeah.
Does it scare anybody or make anybody nervous to agree to sign up for this and realize there's going to be that many people scrutinizing and getting on you to do what you say you're going to do? I saw a few hands raised on that.
Yes and no. I welcome the scrutiny. I've worked in that. For those of you who don't know, I just finished up a 30-year teaching career and I'm still coaching and so on and so forth. But I welcome being challenged. I like that. So that doesn't scare me at all. It's just getting my shit together and not listening to the drunk monkey saying, I can't, that's too much.
So your drunk monkey saying, I don't have enough of my shit together to be worthy of doing this?
Or why are you doing this? You don't need to do this. That kind of thing.
Talk to me more about that.
Why challenge myself? I've earned
Why not challenge yourself?
exactly. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Well,
That's-
you haven't
that's
answered the one side. What about the other side?
What do you mean?
Why not challenge yourself? You know why you shouldn't challenge, or God, I'm gonna get my own.
Why are you challenging yourself?
Yes.
Yes, because I want to not sit at home and be retired and sit on the couch and do nothing. I want to be challenged in a different way, a totally different way. I want my brain to work in a different way. So I know that's harder to do as we get older, but that's what I want to do.
That's awesome. This partnership is not for people that want to be comfortable. This is not a get to 150,000 a year, sit back and be good with that. This is not the partnership that you're signing up for. So again, no hard feelings,
There's no judgment.
no judgment on any of that. If that's not what you want, just let us know. Like, this is not, that's not what we're doing in this room or with this partnership.
So Bruce, you asked, why am I doing it that way? I want to be able to do whatever the hell I want, when I want. And I mean, I can kind of do that now, but not to the point that I want to do. I want to do more stuff.
I like what you said. I can do what I want when I want. I have the same mentality. I like to have my own freedoms, right? I think everybody does, but I think the crutch that comes along with that is I could do it on my own. And I have a hard time asking for help. So that would be also a drunk monkey.
Yeah, just a second. And again, when you're, the couple people that raise their hand that this scares them, like this, I want you to understand this scares me too. Because me committing to doing some of these things are not top of my priority list currently. And diving in and doing this to help all of us get where we want this to go is scary for me too. So understand it's both, this is both sides. Like, we're signing up for a new adventure right now too. And we've got to be able to hold up our end of this too. And it's what it is.
Appreciate that.
As someone who is drowning in finances right now, but I'm still pushing forward in this and really want this a lot. That's what scares me. Is just saying, you know, I'm ending up with $50 in my pocket and I'm so sick of it. And so is that gonna hold me back?
If you don't let it. And again, this is not what I recommend for all of you, or this is not a path that all of you can or are able to take. But I know some of the most successful realtors few of the most successful realtors in our office. They didn't start selling houses till they quit their part-time job.
I'm still working.
Yeah, no, and that's good. But when there's a safety net, some people can't get out of the net, if that makes sense. And that's part of the coaching and accountability and some of the hard conversations that we'll have with you. That may be a different conversation for you than it is with her or him. But here's what we're seeing, and here's where you need to go if this is really what you want out of this. If not, that's great. Opt out and keep doing what you're doing. But if you want to build a big life and a big net worth and make truly life-changing money in this, we're going to have that accountability level with you guys. And it's not always going to be fun. Bruce almost made you cry today. That's just part of it sometimes. Well, that's how I'm said. But
There's one thing I want to add to the aha about the model. This is just like me. It's like, you know, like in the way you said, write down a number, and then went from year to month, to week, to day, and then you're showing us the model. It's just like to me, it's like so motivating.
Yeah, how it's
It's
like
like-
from not possible to,
It's a very possible, it's a very motivating, it's a doable, and I love that slide where it said like sooner is better than now, you know? Like, why wait? Why would you wait tomorrow or next week? Like, why would you start right now? And the fact that all of us are in this room and we're all being pushed toward that goal should be motivating because we all have each other. You know?
so again, this isn't to pick on anyone or do anything like that, but just kind of a mindset scenario here. And I'll pick on you since you said you have $50 in your wallet, in your bank account or whatever. Do you feel that you could make $200 million on a real estate deal in the next 12 months with the amount of investment you have at the moment?
And I think I have the ability to, but I'm a realist.
Do you truly think you can do it?
I don't know.
All of that to say, and again, I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything, but at this point, all I have to do is I've got to find 1,000+ lot development that's suitable for 55+ housing. I've got the investment behind it where I put $0 into it. He'll teach me how to do it. He'll give me all his financial models, all of that stuff. He takes 40% of the profit. I keep 60. He makes 200,000 a lot, and then keeps 1.2 million a year or a month in residual income off. zero out of my pocket dollars. To make $120 million in 12 months. Like it's doable,
Is this the situation we're stepping into?
potentially. These are all things that, one, the guy I'm talking about is a billionaire. He lives down in Florida. He's a friend of my dad's and he's done some of the financing on some of our real estate deals. So yes, you can learn the same stuff. That's some of this is wealth building. How do we do all this? What do you want to do? Excuse me. And my goal is go do enough of these with him that I can turn around and be the money for you guys and do the same thing.
So is it possible for those of us that do have full-time jobs to meet with those other people that have full-time jobs? Like, is this model something that's still doable for?
So the partnership, again, some of how this will be structured will depend on one who raises their hand to sign up and who wants to or doesn't want to do it. And going through some of those first initial conversations about what do you want out of this? What does that look like for you? We'll structure our schedules around your guys' schedules if we need to. But understand if this isn't what you want, and again, just shifting the mindset of we're not creating jobs. We don't want you to have a new job. We want you to have a business that makes you money. And eventually, ideally sooner than later, that other job's going to have to go away. We don't want you working in a job anymore. We want you running a business.
Yeah, I'll just be straight up blunt. I did invite many of you guys that have other jobs, part-time, full-time. I don't see this as being something that is going to, I see this as being something that you guys might be attracted to. Some of you with another job might be full on in, and some of you might just need this idea to motivate you to the point where when you take and you rip that Band-Aid off, it's tough. Look at this guy right here, like a Mr. Bobblehead today. Okay, no, I say that in the utmost respect because just share, what'd you do?
So like I was at a job, it was called Bobo's Oat Bars. I was there for 5 years. And like the last 6 months, I thought heavy, like, is this something I want to do? And I told myself, this isn't what I want to do for the rest of my life. I got my real estate license and I made a decision where I told myself, I have a license. Am I going to put 50, 60 hours a week in an industrial job? Or am I going to put that in something I worked hard to get my license for? And ever since I got my license, I saved 2 months worth of rent and bills. And I got advice from a really good friend of mine that said, either you take a jump or you don't. You got 1 foot in or 1 foot out. And I took a risk and I believed in myself. I believed in everything that I worked hard for, that this is going to work out for me. And I've been in here for 5 weeks and I work my butt off every day because this is going to be my full-time gig. You know, like I took that jump and I took that risk because I believe that this is where I have to be. And I feel just like her, you know, like I'm running down to, I have a little bit of money and that makes me want to go out and talk to more people. That makes me want to go out and go knock on more doors and go do more open houses because it's coming. And you got to believe yourself, you know, when you say, I have a full-time job and I still want to do real estate, but you have to pick one. You can't have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. That's just me. I mean, I made that risk. I was scared. I made that email to whoever I sent, the president, whoever. And I was nervous when I sent that email, but I believed it, you know, and I took that jump. And so far I've been loving the journey. And the fact that I'm in here learning this is more motivating me. I hope everyone that works is motivating too, so that to take that risk and take that jump, if this is something you really want to do.
Yeah.
Probably the most nerve-wracking thing you ever did in your life.
Yeah, I was
We had
scared.
many conversations.
Yeah.
So
And-
back,
And to piggyback onto that, like I'm not advocating for any of you to go out and quit your job tomorrow.
yeah, he was gonna say the same thing. Do that.
But understand that if this is a commitment that you want to make, like our first couple of conversations are going to be, what's the plan that you're going to commit to in the next 3 months to go tell your boss to F off? It's not going to be, this is going to be a 12-month transition. This is going to be yada, yada, yada. No, we're doing this in the next 3 months so that you have a big enough paycheck that you can live for the next 3 months and quit your job. If that's what you want to do. If you love your other job, this isn't what you want to do. Again, no judgment. That's awesome. Do it. But what we're doing is we're creating business. We want to create business owners inside of the real estate space.
The way that my brain saw this with some of you guys that have those other jobs is if you're struggling right now to figure out how to incorporate real estate as well as your other day-to-day with your family, and your personal life, and your other job, and real estate, it's a juggle every second of every day. Your brain fires with all of those thoughts. Same with you, same with you. And I'm not trying to say a lot of people out there, so. The reality is that sometimes we need the light at the end of the tunnel to take that leap. Right? And so some of you guys are here today because I see something in you. I've had one-on-ones with you guys. I know the passion behind what you guys are looking to do. And I know it's difficult to be a Carlos. He didn't have a light at the end of the tunnel, just got grit and grind and trust in me, which is scary for me too, right? But at the end of the day, this could be something that you guys now have a goal to set your sights up for saving up those reserves that are necessary or due, right? Or like, I've just gotten to know Anna. I bet you, man, does she work hard? Okay, full-time job. You recorded it. Here, sure. Somebody talk great about you. Sure. Oh. Works tenaciously for this. You've had many of conversations, not just with me. I know people come talk to me about you. Michaela, we've had many of conversations. You guys have this, so this could be the light at the end of the tunnel. This could be the thing that actually makes the Band-Aid just a little bit more easy to jump off, because I've seen the past in your guys' eyes.
I'm coming at it from a different point because my husband has a very good job and I don't have to work. But I want to retire my husband because I see the toll that his job is taking. And his dad died 2 days after his 51st birthday, and I don't want to lose my husband young. So I'm very impassioned about replacing his salary so that he can have options.
Bingo. You're all in here for a reason. You guys have all leaned into myself or other coaches. You guys have been very coachable. And I also see the passion and fire, but I do see that with every single one of you guys, I can easily pinpoint what's in your way.
I guess my drunken monkey would be the what ifs then, because I also like plan my life out in months and years. And it's like, okay, well, what if I don't sell a house and then I have no.
What if you sell 20?
Yeah, so I guess that's my drunken monkey is. The what ifs.
Unknown?
Yeah, like it's not a stable, like I don't know when my next paycheck is.
And again, not to downplay that, but anybody that makes real money, they never really know where the next paycheck's coming from. Or they didn't for a period of time to get to that. And some of what we're partnering, oh, sorry, go ahead.
That.
Yeah.
My brain was.
Requote it how you heard it.
Anybody who makes real money doesn't know where their next paycheck is coming from.
Yeah, feel free to get snacks or drinks too, if this gets a little heavy for you. We'll get stuff in the back.
Anybody need a beer?
So, and again, on some of that too, part of this partnership is if you guys are going to commit to doing this stuff that's going to build a business, we're going to try to commit to feeding you a lot of these office generated leads. Like we want to help you get up and running as quick as possible. And some of that is this new lead program or this new lead program or this new lead program, yada, yada, yada. Now, again, there is a cost for the office to do these lead programs. So there are going to be like maybe where you pay the office a referral on that lead type of thing. But we want you to have deals to work if you're committed to doing the activities and the work to get you where you want to be. And we're getting to some of that. Sorry, these are good. That was a good conversation. So again, kind of some of the stuff that we're committing to on the business development side of things. And again, when we're talking about a lot of this stuff, what that kind of means or what the office is semi-committing to financially is when, if you raise your hand and say, yes, this is the partnership I want to get involved with, the office is going to cover the expense on a lot of this stuff for the first 6 months. Like we understand that coaching comes with a cost. We understand that the event subscription comes with a cost. We understand that TC stuff costs money. These things cost money. We're good with covering that for the first 6 months. so that you can see the benefits of leveraging these things off to other people, having other people do these parts of it, and you just focus on the parts that grow your business. So I want you to understand that like, these are going to show up on the P&Ls. We're going to talk to you about how much they cost, how much stuff costs, and then eventually you're committing to start paying for this stuff. But understand, I get that there's a financial burden out of the gate on some of these things, that the office is willing to carry that side of it in these partnerships.
It's huge.
Particularly like when it comes to the entity setup, the CPA, where like some of that is upfront cost. The office is going to do that and commit to that side of it if you commit to doing what you're going to do. So again, this is also one of the pullouts in there too. It looks slightly different than this, but all the same information. This is some of what we're going to do on the backside. Again, we're partnering with the kind of in-house simple RE services. So like transaction coordination, if you haven't used it yet, they're going to do and handle, it's like your monthly database subscription. So all you have to do is go meet people, talk to people, and give them that. They'll put them in the system. They'll handle your CRM, and they'll set them up on drip campaigns and follow up. All you have to do is what the computer spits out for you to do every day. Like, you're going to basically get an executive administrator right out of the gate. And then there's like the one-on-one coaching and accountability. What else? So the event stuff too, where you'll be included in the event subscription, where you get 4 big client events a year. They handle a lot of the 6-week lead up. Here's what you do to follow up with people. Here's how you generate leads off of events and working a database. As we're heading into a shifting market, the most effective way to keep and earn business in a shifting market is to really add to your database and then dive into your database. Stay in contact, stay in front of, invite them to do things, get involved in their lives and in their businesses. On the lead generation side of things, we'll create and develop a database growth plan for each of you individually. We'll develop a farming plan to help you grow your database. And then we'll create a consistent marketing message for your business to help you increase leads. Again, this is not going to be a one size fits all. If one of you really likes to do expireds and FSBOs, we'll craft it around that. Like my wife loves to do events and being around people, we'll craft it around that. If you love, for some strange reason, to cold call people, we'll craft it around that. Like, however you best generate leads and are comfortable with talking to people is how we will create your business and help you scale it. This is not come and do it our way. We're not making any changes. That is not what the goal of this is. All right, so we kind of have 3 new lead sources. I'm going to give you some very basics about these. And then at the end, if you have more questions on these, you can ask them. Actually, a couple of the people from Brook are bringing in more beer and wine, I think, here in a minute, and they'll be around to just chat at the end. But Rise. So basically Rise is you sign up for the service. Again, the office would cover that upfront cost for the first 6 months. Leads come in. And then they get distributed out, and there's coaching and training around how to generate and cultivate online leads. They do a very good job of this. They convert a ton of leads through this. I will warn you, the first couple of leads that you're going to get through there aren't going to be great. And you just have to, they're testing you too. Goes in the algorithm. If you can get them deals closed, you're going to get the better leads. So that's one of the sources. And again, this is a monthly subscription fee, and then there's a referral on the end to the company type of thing. We'll go through all that if and when you guys decide this is the one I want to dive in on, or this one, or blah, blah, blah.
And I'll add to that too. So some of the one-on-one coaching that you'll be doing with me is making you guys a better agent for those types of leads that will come through these different lead sources. All right. You guys might have some instinctual things, you might have seen some things about how to interact with online leads and stuff like that. It's an art. There's a science behind it. There's a reason why some people are good at it right out of the gate, and some people struggle for a while. But we'll be working heavily on those lead sources to make sure you maximize, what they're giving you. David's not wrong. Those lead sources will test you. Your first couple, they'll be basically bogus. They're going to want to see that you guys are calling them and touching base and using the system 8 different times over 8 weeks, putting in your notes, call, left voicemail, shout them a text, schedule the next call. Okay, their business is a business and they're only gonna provide the good stuff to business owners that follow their model. Right, you guys are all here because you guys have passion. I know you guys want to do this. It's the same thing, vice versa.
Because, and again, how that works is these online lead aggregators. The model has shifted to where they get paid on a referral basis now. They don't get paid on a per lead basis, most of them anymore. So for them, from a business perspective, it makes the most sense to give the good leads to the ones that convert online leads the best. They're going to make more money. Rise is a coaching and training company around that to help you become as highly rated in that system as you can. That's that one. Again, we can get into this deeper later. 72 sold. 72 sold is a listing lead generator, almost predominantly listings. This is a new partnership that KW just launched with these guys. Their big national radio TV ad campaign starts in Q1. The office has committed to 4 seats in the program. Those seats cost the office $1,500 a month. Just so you understand, like and again, there's going to be a referral split that the office gets to pay for some, offset the cost on some of that. What they do in Phoenix, so in Phoenix, where they're from and where they started and did all this, they have 1% of the agents in their office and they sell 12% of the houses in Phoenix. Just through doing this program. And again, for some of you that may not like to toot your own horns, but can sell a system or sell something that's not you, this is the one you're going to want to pick. Because you got to get the ego out of it. You're not selling what you can do for them. You're selling what 72 sold can do to get their house sold. So just understand that there's different ways to do some of this. But what they guarantee us for each seat is 1 to 2 closings a month. 4 to 8 listing appointments, and 1 to 2 of those will close a month. On top of some other farming and some other stuff that goes along with that program. But again, I'm going high level and quick with these things. We can dig into these down the road later. 72 sold leads. So again, anybody can sign up for Rise if they want to do it on their own. You guys are all more than welcome to do that. You don't have to be a part of this to be with Rise. What we're saying is we'll pay the monthly cost for that if you're in the partnership. 72 sold, the leads that the office is paying for are going to go to one, and again, this is just a reality of life. They're going to go to the people that sign up for this partnership program or our top producing agents. They have to, because they have to close or we lose too much money. Again, this one, you could sign up for your own seat as well. If you can pay $1,500 a month.
So you said the company actually pays for this, so I'm 26.
So for 72 sold, the $1,500 a month seats, the office has signed up for those seats. Now, if in 6 months you decide our business itself wants to pay for one of these seats and just keep the leads ourselves, you can do that. The office is committing, as long as it's working, we'll keep doing it and referring those out to agents at a split. So you can decide to stay in the program, pay the referral fee to the office and get that, or I want to go buy a seat myself and just get the leads without having to pay the referral fee. So again, there's a cost of doing business. The splits, usually the easier it is to get a deal to the closing table, the bigger chunk of the commission you're giving up. That's how the game works. So kind of the break even mark when I've been doing the financials behind this one for the office is those are probably going to be 50-50 for splits. Because we're literally just handing you listing appointments.
Get good training out of that, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Close the machine.
And then, so the third one is it's a company called Rook. Rook is a company that's bringing a new product to the mortgage industry. So they are partnered with First Bank and then with us exclusively. We are their launch markets. I'm on their board. I've helped them kind of create this whole thing. So this is an exclusive Northern Colorado thing. And in 2023 is when we start taking it out to other offices and other territories. But kind of what this does, and these guys will be here in a little bit. So I'll let them, you can ask them all the questions down the road or tonight later. They're here already. Okay. But kind of how this works is First Bank will come in for your client and do a first mortgage of 60%. Rook, hey. Rook comes in and then does up to, I think, 25 or 30%. And on Rook's portion, there is no monthly payment. And in return, they get a percentage of the equity upside in the property. So it's a way to make homeownership affordable, again, for the next generation of home buyers that are being priced out of a lot of markets. I think running the numbers the other day on a $650,000 house, the monthly savings on a payment ends up being about $800 a month. And in return, you give up some of the equity on the backside. You guys stepped in right at the right time. But so that's kind of the very high level overview of that. Again, they brought more drinks and stuff. They'll be around to chat later if you want more details on that. These leads that Rook generates. So again, the partnership works where any leads that come in that don't have a realtor involved, those get shipped to us. And then we refer those out to agents in the offices. Those leads will go to the people that are in these partnerships. If there's not enough people in the partnerships, they'll now go to the ALC next. But those ones are only going there.
Being a tenant into homeownership too.
Yeah.
Making it stir stuff.
So those are kind of the three general new lead programs that the office is rolling out here in the next couple of months. And those are going to be offered to anybody that decides they want to be one of these partners. So, and then again, it's, we're committed to do some stuff on the wealth building side. So we're going to set up and run a business that has a tangible value at exit. If you're a salesperson and you don't set it up correctly, if you want to sell 30 houses a year and you want to retire, nobody's buying that from you. If you set up a business that sells 30 houses a year, there is a monetary value to that. We're going to teach you how to do that and how to maximize that stuff. You guys will get the first opportunities to invest in ancillary business ventures. You'll get teaching, coaching, and masterminds around on different investment strategies. And then there'll be real estate investing opportunity and partnership opportunities kind of as we're going in these as you're able to. So when it comes to kind of some of the ancillary business ventures, kind of how this works is we are in the process of setting up an entity that owns everything that we kind of own at the moment. So right now you have the two offices. Those will just have their ownership owned by a holding entity. We have the in-house mortgage company. We have in-house insurance. We're going to roll out a title partnership at the beginning of the year. And then we have the kind of the investment fund. All of those things will have ownership in this joint entity. If and when you guys want to get involved in some of that side of things, you guys will get the first shot at those things as they open up. In return for all of this, what we expect from you, we expect you to commit to doing the activities that create $1 million plus business a year. $1 million plus a year business. I think I said that backwards. We need you to believe it's possible and commit to building your net worth to $20+ million. We want you to commit to investing 20% of your business profits into growing your business and your net worth. Again, in this office partnership, the office will commit to putting up 20% of their portion on this too, if that is something you would want help with. We want you to commit to being a full-time business owner and not a business worker. We want you to commit to following the MRE models and systems. We want you to allow yourself to be coached hard and be held to an extreme level of accountability. We want you to be eager to leave your comfort zone with your thinking and designing of a big life. We want you to be open to investment and wealth building activities and training presented to the group. I want you to understand and be excited that you're going to have breakdowns and we'll move forward through that. And then you commit to never stop being a learning-based business owner. That's what we're asking from on your side of things. So kind of what this breakdown looks like. We'll create an entity. The agent will own 75% of that entity and Keller Williams itself will own 25% of the entity.
Hold on.
What?
Not Keller Williams International. Keller Williams at the local.
The local level entities. The ones that you potentially could then invest in down the road. It is. So that's kind of the partnership breakdown. And again, there are buyout opportunities in the future, and I'll get into that in a second. But kind of just a quick run through the numbers. Our goal is to get you to 3 units a month at a minimum. That's within 18 months. Our average commission between the offices is $16,600. That would be a total commission of just under $600,000. If you commit to running the MRE model, 30% of that is cost of sales, 30% of that is expenses, and 40% of that is profit margin. Does everyone understand what cost of sales is?
So in this sense, like, you know, well, cost of sale, what it costs to list a house, how much it costs to pay your employee or your
Not quite.
assistants?
Not quite.
No? Okay, well then I don't know.
Okay. So your cost of sale are your costs that are only associated if you actually close something.
Oh.
So the mindset shift I need you guys to have is currently you're going to create a business that you also then semi-employ yourself inside of the business. So at some point, we want you to gravitate out of that and hire a buyer's agent. Then whatever you pay that buyer's agent on a split would be your cost of sales.
Right.
Like a TC that only gets paid on a sale, that's a cost of sale. The split that you pay to the office and KWRI, that's a cost of sale. Employees, marketing, all of that stuff, those are expenses.
So like the lead splits so say with the 3 different lead generations that you're gonna have, those would be expenses or cost of sale.
So that would just be a referral that kind of comes off the top.
Got it,
If there's a monthly fee, that would be
That would be an expense.
expense, not.
got it.
So these are coming out of closes, so our split would be different? Is that what?
That doesn't change anything on that side of it.
That much more.
This is what
I think it's-
percentage.
So
This is the confusing part.
this is, well, because they all know it from the 30-30-40. So you have a $10,000 commission check, and I'm talking after splits and royalty. You have $10,000. The way that this model is set up is we're starting out, so we don't have buyer's agents. This is a brand new entity. You are the person, you are the agent selling the house. The model says you guys need to be taking $3,000 of that, investing $3,000 back into your business, saving $4,000 for the emergencies, the rainy day profit. So 30-30-40, 30% to the cost of sales. So it's just you pay yourself $3,000. You put $3,000 back into the business for marketing, materials, expenses. And then you have your 40% in profit back. That's what helps builds up reserves, all of those things. Then at the end of like a quarter, you take that profit and you decide as a business owner how much you're going to disperse and how much you're going to keep into the business for reserves or anything else that you might have coming up. With what a lot of us do naturally is we get a $10,000 commission check and we go, yeah, and then we start spending that money, right? And then we wonder why our business doesn't grow. And that's the number one detriment to all agents is they don't follow the model, right? When you get a paycheck from a W-2 job, you get to take home what you get. The business already took back their 30%. You guys see that? You guys understand that? Okay, when you make $22 an hour at some business, they already took out their 30% to put it back into the business. We as agents have the luxury or the detriment of making that choice. And the choice we always make is we don't want 3 to come to us from that 10,000. We want more like 7 to 8. I will put some back for the business. I got like a couple $100 worth of postcards coming up. I'm going to send out. I might as well just take like 9,500. And then we got board dues that come around every August and everybody's going, ugh. But if you run your business, the board dues should just be in a bank account, ready to be used. There should be no animosity around board dues. So if you guys had animosity around board dues, you might be really, really new in the industry. But if you had a few closings this year and you had animosity around board dues, you're not following model. Which probably means you're behind on sales because let's face it, if you're getting $8,000 to $10,000 on a check and you're taking it home, how much effort and energy do you have to lead generate the next day? But if you're taking $3,000 home, you got some money to pay the bills, but you're still strapped. So now let's go lead generate. And then when you actually pay yourself a profit dividend and after a quarter, you actually did start to budget your balance to where that check or that one closing was actually around $6,000 that came back to you. But you only took $3,000 up front, $3,000 down the road because you ran your business well. So that first number on there, or not first, but the 30% COS, cost of sales. If you close 36 deals and you don't have anybody, you're just a partnership with the office. To you and your family, you're bringing home about 180. Another 180 is spent back into the business for all the lead gen sources and paying for those subscriptions and doing those things and signs and flyers and blah, 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 blah. And then you've got the 40% profit. When you get to that 40% profit model, that's when you and the other business owner, David, will sit down and have your quarterly review to discuss how much profit will be distributed to you and how much will be left into the business for you to continue to sustain. So an example with that is if I sit down with Jarrett, or if he sits down with Jarrett, whoever, right? Sit down with Jarrett and he's got $40,000 worth of profit sitting there. But we don't have any of the 30% expenses. Say we spent all of that. We have nothing to keep the business going. Then we should probably elect to make sure that a portion of that profit is then kept back into the business because we did something wrong with our expenses. We need to revamp our budget. We need to revamp our expenses. And then we need to put that profit back in because we did something wrong. But I might be with Carlos and Carlos has $40,000 worth of profit, but he's also still got like $20,000 worth of the expense category. That might be a conversation him and David have to where they allow all of the profit to be distributed, but it's a business decision as a business owner. And when I said this from the beginning, you guys, one of the best things I ever did to myself was stopped running around with a chicken with my head cut off for 9 friggin' months before I sold anything, got into model, sold my first house, paid myself 30%. I wanted to kill someone, just so you're aware. I did see that number, right? It's a big number. You want it. It's there. It's in your hands. You went to the bank. It's in your bank account. All you want to do is spend it. Push it aside to a business account. Push 30% over to your personal account. And that's all you get to live on. Best thing I ever did for myself. Scariest thing I ever did for myself. Does that help break down how those numbers look and what the model looks like? Did I say that right?
I think so.
Yeah.
And again, with some of this, some of the value that comes from our side is all of this other stuff. Some of it is helping you understand that if we run it like a business, we're going to set you up correct entity wise. If you do it the correct way, you're going to save 40 or 50 grand a year in taxes just by doing it correctly. You're going to make more than you would ever pay us just to run the business correctly. And if you keep following down on here, if you're running a business that has its own tax returns, and it's not just you personally, you now own a business. These types of businesses typically sell for about 2 times or basically 2 years worth of profit. So if your profit margin is 239,000, you've also just added 478,000 in net worth to you because you now have a business that's sellable and not just your name selling real estate. So I want you guys to just understand some of that and how we want you to start thinking about things like that. Again, this isn't going to be for everybody. We don't expect it to be. And if it is something you think you're interested in, and let's say 3 or 4 years down the road, all we have to do is have a business conversation. Hey, this is not working out. I don't see the value on your guys' side of it. I'd like to buy you out of the business. We'll set all those agreements up front based on what percentages are on that stuff. Or it could be the other direction too. Hey, I'm ready to retire. Can you buy me out of this business? What we want you to do is set up a business that you can have those conversations instead of how do I go sell another house just to pay my mortgage again? Does that make sense on that side of things? So again, I know it's not for everyone. But again, I like that quote because it's the resistance to change isn't because of it's not because of what they can gain. It's because they focus on what they have to give up. And I can reasonably say for most of the people in this room, 75% of 600,000 is probably going to be much more money than you take home 100% of what you do on your own. And again, it's not all going to be for me. There's other people that are diving in on this too. We just want you to start thinking in a more wealth building mindset. And that's the whole, okay, out of that, if we have 400,000 or 200,000 in business profits, we're going to take 40,000 of that and decide, is it time to hire an admin specifically for our business? Or are we not quite there? We'll stay with what we're doing and we'll go invest 40 grand in a house or in a business, or in, you commit to doing that and we'll pour in and try to give you as much opportunity to get the best investment wealth building things out there. That's what I'm committing to. And again, finding deals on the investment side where we can structure it to where it's not money out of our pocket. We find the right deal, so money is always there.
So, like, you like the Keller Williams commission split the 60-40 for the first, 4 transactions or whatever, is that still gonna be involved with the 75-25 split?
That is a cost of sale. So it's not 60-40. And then
Or-
36.
so what we can do with partners is we can adjust that percentage down at the beginning. Because again, if we're trying to get you to think like business people who understand that hurts some right out of the gate. So we can go to more of a 90-10. We can't change KDRI 6%. We can't do that, but this is your own business outside of you hanging your license at Keller Williams.
So, and then after the 6 months, let's say you don't hit those 3 sales a month that you wanted to, are you held accountable to pay back anything extra
No,
versus the 75-25 split?
no.
You're not gonna last 6 months.
Right.
If you're not about to 3 houses a month after 6 months, we either did it wrong or you're working in a different industry.
Yeah.
Realistically.
We'll all know right away. It's, you guys have been really. Yeah, you guys have never really seen me hire an assistant, but if I ever hire an assistant again, you take them through a 30, 60, 90-day model. And at the end of 90 days, it's a mutual agreement whether we continue or not. And this is no different. It's a partnership. Right? If both parties are holding up their end of the bargain, you're gonna know well before 6 months whether this is something you want to be involved with or not.
Like, I'm so ready to do this full time, and like, I guess my drunken monkey is like, I feel like financially I cannot quit my full-time job and it sucks. And I did go part-time for a very long time and I have not sold anything yet. And I have people under contract. But it's like high interest rates and they're trying to get their credit up, or now they're suing their CPA for whatever freaking reason. It's just like been crazy. And I now have gone back full-time to my job, but now I'm trying to create like 8 streams of income because I'm a freaking mad woman. I don't even know, but I've started like an e-commerce, like Shopify sales store, and I'm now day trading in the stock market. Like, I really want this. But I just don't want to be in a bunch of debt if it doesn't work out.
We won't know until you try.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
But, and again, we're structuring this where there's realistically no debt. The office is committing to cover the expenses to do this for the first 6 months. It's just a matter of, we'll understand between the two of us if it's working or not. If it's not working, I'm not going to keep paying for you 6 months from now.
100%.
And some of that stuff you said is normal conversations inside the real estate industry. What we need you to understand is you're going to have a lot of those. Go have another 100 conversations because it's a numbers game. Talk to 100 people. You're going to get 3 of them to buy a house. So if you want to sell 36, go talk to 1,300 people this year. That's all we look at. And that's all we hold you accountable to. And what we're doing is taking everything else off of your plate from the business and transactional side of this to have you focus on building an actual business and not getting lost in the weeds or getting something under, I'm not pointing at you, but getting something under contract and then not lead generating for the next 2 months because you're trying to get the deal done.
Oh, that is.
Okay, you then don't do that. You can go.
Focused on in my business the last couple of years is go small to go big. And that, I mean, I kind of have that same mentality of like this, and this, and this, and this. And for me, it's like, no, focus in on what matters. I need to go small and do that really, really well so that I can go big.
Yeah.
And
Like, I'm trying so hard to quit my full-time job. It's just like, car payments and rent and everything.
But even just like, even in lead generation, like I can get so squirrelish of that looks my mouth, so I want to do this, this and this. And then once I realize, no, Brittany, actually, what do you enjoy doing? And what do you do well? Okay, I'm gonna do this. Like, this is what I'm good at. This is what I enjoy. I'm awful at door knocking. I'm awful at cold calling. And I don't enjoy that. So why do that in my business? I'm gonna actually do these activities because I enjoy it. So like having that just across the board, that's been my motto.
It's just doing enough of what you want to do. And all we're doing is making sure you get where you want to be, and we're not going to be nice about it. Right now, we have to be nice about it, so.
Mindset, right?
Well, and again, I know a decent amount of you are younger or new to the business. I started in real estate when I was 22. Sold 35 to 40 houses a year in a really bad real estate market, and I don't like people. If you just stick to what you like doing, you can sell houses somehow. You can make money in real estate. You don't have to be extremely high and want to go be around people all the time. I would much prefer to go hide in a hole most of the time and not talk to anyone. But you can throw me in front of numbers and spreadsheets and investments, and I'll talk to about that stuff all day long. That's how I sold 40 houses a year. I didn't make phone calls. People called me. So there's lots of different ways to do this job. We just want to make sure that you decide what you want to do, and we're not going to let you not do it if you commit to this. That's the end. Yeah. So again, we'll kind of leave it open for questions. You can take off, hang around as long as you want. We do have Hannah and Scott. Scott's First Bank, Hannah is with Brooke. They can talk more about that if they want, or you can ask them more questions about what that looks like or how that works, or if I have somebody interested, what do I do? They're just kind of here to hang out and talk. That if you think you have somebody that would be interested in that on the buying side, let us know. It's available right now in Boulder County and Larimer County, and Weld opens this weekend. Is what okay. Weld is open now too. And Denver is next week. So that's where it's available at the moment.
When do you expect?
Probably just, no. Just probably just send an email. Think about it. This is a big decision. It's your business. Do you want me as a business partner? There's a few that don't. And there's a few that I don't want as business partners anymore. Like, that's just how it works. So I don't want you to commit right now. Think about it. Send Bruce or I an email. Again, no hard feelings, no judgment. If you don't want to do it, if you don't think that it's worth what you'd be potentially paying KW. But something new we're rolling out. And we're committing to the people that want to do that. So again, ask questions too.
What does the process look like? How are we going to work together to get me to do 3 transactions every month?
So what we'll do in the next, it'll probably be likely the first week in December. Whoever commits to doing this, will have our little retreat. So we'll go offsite somewhere. I'll rent a room somewhere, find a room in a clubhouse somewhere. We'll go and have our kind of business planning meeting for the next year, what that looks like for you. Now, again, if you say yes to this in the next week or two, likely we'll be reaching out to set up a one-on-one time to go through and just get to know you a little bit better, ask about your business a little bit better, what some of your goals and stuff are. And then at the retreat, we'll formulate and put onto paper the actual plan of here's what we're going to do to get to 36 units next year. And then we'll start to map out, okay, here's your one-on-one time with Mark. Here's your month or your weekly accountability group with the group. Here's the quarterly schedule. We'll just get all that on the calendar and that retreat into. Did that answer your question?
Kind of. Yeah.
What did I miss?
Well, my question was more, is there like a step-by-step process that we have? Are we going to be following the model that you guys mentioned earlier?
I was about to say, that's your step by step.
This is the model. This is the model in here realistically we run off of. So have you read this yet? Take it and read it. You could keep those are for you guys to take home. We'll be running off of this. And then we will be formulating your specific step-by-step model based on what it is that you want to do in real estate. So again, if you're good with wanting to do cold calls, or I want to go do X, or I want to do open houses. I can't give you that specific strategy because I don't know, one, what would work for you or what you want to do. It's not going to be a one size fits all, because if I was sitting on the other side of this meeting and I had a conversation with me afterwards that said, okay, you're going to go call 10 people a day, 5 days a week for all of 2023, it's just not going to happen. That's
Keep
not my
real,
person.
third middle finger.
So a lot of it is heading into the beginning of the year, we are going to craft that based on the individual needs of whoever decides that they want to. Does that?
So we look at numbers.
Yep.
And say, this is how many calls.
Yep.
how many contacts.
And we'll work it backwards. We'll work it backwards because it maybe you want to sell more than 36 houses. You want to make 600,000 next year instead of 300,000. We'll just work it back. It's a numbers game, and all we do is operate off of this. And then it'll be 3% goes to marketing, 3% goes to this, 10% goes to this, and we'll just break it down based on all of that.
And to say, oh, I can do it. And then it doesn't get done. And having that interaction with other people who have done it and been there is really important. But
Guys, when I got into real estate, I hired 3 buyer's agents and a full-time assistant right when I started. Did not follow the model. Follow the model.
You guys all have the option to do exactly what we talked about on your own tonight. That's the beauty about what we're talking about.
Okay, all of that is just in here,
Got Nathan first.
and you can explain this and do it yourself.
Trying to get back to him.
What does the buyout look like down the road?
So it's typically, it'll just be whatever whoever's piece of the business is worth. So if you had 100,000 in profit, the standard thing is 2 times that, paid out over 5 to 10 years.
Okay.
But that'll all be in the operating agreements that we put together, all of that stuff for you to read through and send to your own legal or CPAs or whatever. Again, this is like, we are creating something new. This is not a new thing. It's all right here. You can do this on your own. Why we've decided to do this is because I'm tired of having 88% of you not be here in 6 months. Like, I don't know half the names in this room because you weren't here 6 months ago. And you won't be again unless you commit to doing it either on your own or through really hard accountability. That's just the blunt truth about the business.
Nathan,
Okay, so in the NC, it's a 75-25 breakdown. So I'm assuming that's disbursements and equity.
Yep.
And then voting shares would be a 50-50 deal, or would you?
You'll have the voting shares, 51, 30, 49.
Okay,
So you can decide how you want to run the business. Our job is just to help you hold it accountable to have a business making money, but it's your business.
perfect.
You decide what you want to do with it. You're gonna get her?
Henry?
Okay,
I
thanks.
think you already answered my question. I was gonna ask, first of all, if this is the first year of this program, integrating it with the accountability.
This is a new launch for us. Yes. We have not done this before.
That's why he's so excited.
Hmm?
That's why he's so excited.
And again, I don't expect all of you to do it. I wouldn't be surprised if nobody signs up for it. That's not gonna hurt my feelings. We have gotten the permission to do things like this. I have not heard of anybody doing this specifically.
Dave gets to know, but if he goes down to Austin, all these meetings, we will be the first people that go run things.
Just how it works out. We are typically ahead of it. I think 3 to 5 years out, we are typically ahead of the curve on what we're trying to launch.
I think it's really late because let's.
And if that's not how you want to do your business, don't do your business that way.
Talk about them. Maybe because it's like you can focus on the areas that you're really good in instead of wasting your time in areas that you're not.
This is not fully true. I will never cold call anyone. That's not true because if they have something I want to buy from them, I'll call them and ask them if they want to sell their thing. But I will not cold call anyone to try to get them to list or sell a house with me. It's more, I really want to buy your piece of land. Have you thought about selling it? What's your number? I don't mind making those cold calls, but I will not cold call to do a sale.
Is it like heightened coaching, I guess, like how do you hold accountability, like right now, they're like Sundays. But that's really, I mean, is it just like heightened coaching, are you more hands-on?
So it's a lot more hands-on. There'll be more people involved in different parts of the coaching than what you're currently getting. Again, you guys might take some of this for granted. You are probably in one of the best productivity program structures in the nation on this side of things. So you are getting a decent amount of what we're talking about already. What I hear on the frustration side from these guys is they don't have basically the ammunition to really hold people to the fire in it. Like,
You don't pay us anything.
we can't force you to show up. We can't force you to do this. We can't do this. Now we have a vested interest in what you're doing, and we're going to have a lot more conversations around that if you're not doing it.
Let's see, maybe it's a year or two down the road, things are smoking. I mean, business is good and the models are working and some of the agents in here that are taking part are really successful. And does that look like, you do different things other than just, I would assume you're probably not listing a ton of houses or taking buyers out to.
I don't sell houses anymore.
My question is, maybe, is there an opportunity to look at some other avenues and open up some different doors in real estate?
The whole piece of this is once you have a business that's making you enough money to think about doing other things, that's when you'll really start to see a lot more of me. Let's go do this. Now let's do this. Let me teach you how to run a financial model on this development or on this fix and flip. Or what do you want to do? That's the coaching progresses as you progress.
Yeah.
Again, we're talking about the very beginning because you guys need to sell some houses and make some money to stay alive.
Yeah.
That's not a great, because you can go get something else. But that's really kind of what we're doing. As you start to sell 36 houses a year, you're going to have a couple $100,000 in disposable income that you got to go figure out what to do with. I'll help you figure out what to do with it. I literally right now, and again, this is not real estate related at all, but I'm in the process of putting together a $10 million group that's doing a private stock play. We got a sweetheart deal because my dad helped this guy get into another deal that he couldn't get into. So he's giving us a piece of his company for super cheap. I'm putting $10 million together. I'll keep 20% of that group. Once I hit the 10 million and it funds, I've made at a minimum $22 million in basically equity in the company overnight. And the upside being in the 100 to 150 million range. We can do that stuff then.
Got it.
That's stuff I like doing. I don't want to talk to you about selling houses or following a budget model. I'll do it to get you to the other stuff that's more fun. Anything? Other questions? Do you have any questions for? So again, you don't have to be in the partnership to use Rook. This is open to our office, is open in our territory. We are currently the only ones being allowed to use it as we work through the kinks on the first, it's a brand new product. So if you have questions on that, or want to drink their beer or whatever they brought, have at it. Or you can leave whenever you need to. Grab a book if you don't have one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good to see you,
Likewise.
Call 11300 people. That's the thing of these. It's too big. Going from 1,300 people. I don't know if 1,300 people. So.
It's 3 a day.
That's where I'm
How many?
struggling to find out when do we find those certain.
So that's what because 13.
I didn't quite understand how these numbers are.
Okay,
All right.
so 36 times that is their total commission. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So what we want you to do is think of 30% of that as your cost of sales. So that's either you paying yourself to work in the business or you paying somebody else to work in the business.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So obviously year one, that's going to be you paying yourself. You don't want to go paying somebody else when you just sell the house yourself.
Okay.
So that is the number that you would get off of that 30% of the business minus the 21,000 that you have to pay to Kate.
Okay.
Then you have 30% in expenses. And again, in year one, we're not likely to spend that whole amount. Anything that doesn't get spent, we can either reinvest in more marketing and lead gen, or we can just add it to the bottom. But if we run on a 30-30 exactly, that leaves 40% left over in the business for profits. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What's this? Like, what's an example of this, that we would use on?
Yeah.
So that's just pure profit. So let's say in quarter one, you sell 3 houses a month. So you sold 9 houses in quarter one. Let's say let's call it 10 grand a piece. So you made 4 grand in profit for the business on times 9 houses. So that's $36,000. So at the end of the quarter, then we have our meeting and say, hey, in quarter one, we made a profit of $36,000. Do we want to just disperse that to the owner at the 75-25 split? Or do we want to take some of that and reinvest it in the business? Do we want to invest that in something else? Those are the conversations. That's just money. So if you're looking at it for the year, that would be your just leftover money in the company that didn't get used on expenses or a cost of sales. So that's what's considered your profit.
Okay.
So at the end of the year, hey, we're just good. Let's just disperse all of that. Your 75% of that number is that much. 25% is that much. So what you've technically taken home in year one is going to be the combination of those two, because you're doing all of your own selling. Now, in a year or two from now, if you come in and say, I want to hire a buyer's agent, I'm tired of showing houses or whatever, then we would have to just work that into that part of the budget. Does that make sense?
Also,
So then at that point, now you're looking at it from the business percentage of, I own the business, I don't have the job anymore. I need to make sure that I'm making a profit off of running my business, because that's what I take home.
it's
Does
mostly.
that make sense? And then the business value is, now that I'm running a business and not just selling houses and making a check. Our business made 239,000 in profits. So at a 2 times valuation, you've now created a business that has a value of 478,000.
Got it.
So somebody could come and say, I want to buy your business. This does real estate sales. I'll pay you that because that's what it's worth. So somebody would pay to take over all of this.
Right, say I wanted you to buy me out. This is what you have.
Well, I would pay you, so I would own technically that much of that. KW was. So if I was buying your 75%, they'd be like, okay, like I want to retire, or I want to go drive a race car, do something different. I want to be done. Okay, here's your number. We'll pay that out over 5 to 10 years. That'll all be agreed upon up front. What that number like, it's going to be X% or X times the profit of the last year or last 2 years average, usually paid out over 5 years. And so I'll pay you 358,000, and that'll be about 70 grand a year for the next 5 years. Or you could come in and say, I don't feel any value in your side of it anymore. I want to buy you out. Okay, you bring me that much over 5 years, so 22,000 a year. And then you can just have your whole business back. Our goal is to keep adding all the wealth building and all those opportunities where you still see value in the market.
This number is just these.
Yeah, so after year one, again, now you're probably gonna go buy food and gas and rent or whatever, and you're gonna use some of this money. But if you just kept everything and didn't spend anything, then your net worth after 1 year would be that much. That's what we want you to understand, is owning a business increases your net worth. Selling real estate just makes it. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. I have another question.
Yeah.
How quick can you get your phone? How quick can you do the?
How quick can I get you to close the deal? Realistically, if you push hard at the very beginning, 45 days. Within 45 days. To the closing date. We're not in a real sell something tomorrow business. That's the big problem, realistic. Now, we get you going, we can have you on multiple listing appointments within the first week. And you just have to get the house. So, and again, that just depends. Like, for instance, my wife just had one listed it on Friday, got a cash offer today. It's wants to close on the 18th. for 10 days. But it could have been sat for a month, got an offer that's a 45-day close, and he doesn't close for 3 or 4 months. That's just our business. So I don't like to promise anything on that side of it. What I'll promise is if you do the activities, you will eventually create this consistent business inside. And you can do that on your own.
And if we decide to decide to be part of this plan, we'll sit down and get those activities.
Yep, we'll get ramped up on that as quick as you want to get ramped.
To Helena's, what's the, this is gonna be.
Again, we're doing this because we want you guys to survive and make a lot of money in this business. There's a lot of money that can be made in real estate.
Yeah,
That's why a lot of people do. There's not a lot of people who end up making that money
And then.
because they just don't follow the right systems. And they're in there. So if you don't want my help, read the book, do what the book says.
Partnership.
We just provide some other stuff.
How would we work out my tuition model? Only 3 weeks. I don't know what goes into this. I don't know.
We handle all that.
I can't do that.
All I gotta get you to do is get somebody to let you sit down at their kitchen table. Meeting number 1, he'll go with you. He'll help you get the listing signed. Then you call these people, they do everything else for you.
Yes, you know.
They'll put it up on Iris, they'll schedule the pictures, they'll do almost everything. We will walk you and hold your hand through all of it. That is what we're doing. That is what we're offering. All we want you to do is go meet people and get people to do both. And we'll help you learn how to figure out how to.
So, no, you're good. Hey, let's say,
Thanks for coming down.
let's say I'm part of this partnership and outside of these sources, I get.
So what we're doing is creating a business. So any lead that you create, run through the business. The leads and stuff are helpful, but what we're teaching you how to do is run the business consistently to generate leads to get the business. Which again, some of it is, it's not for everyone. You can probably go do this on your own. It's just a matter of how quickly can you get it figured out? And the market's changing. We can help with some of that.
And what?
We built this to have enough value that it's worth it for you to let us have a piece of your side of the thing. So kind of the whole model of this is a lot of younger agents, new agents, like the premise of being on a team. And then in a year or 2 months they're established, they don't want to be on the team, they go create their own. What we're doing is basically kind of having the office be the team partner. And then you never have to leave because you own the business that you do. We're just helping you build it and we keep a small piece for helping you get there.
Right now, I can't even do anything. I have to pretty much.
And then again, down the way of the road, there's ways I can do all this on my own. I don't need you guys anymore. There's no value in this thing for me. Just buy us out. No harm, no foul. That's why we set it up. But again, at that point, once you're consistently doing business, then our value comes in. Okay, let's teach you how to do development. Let's teach you how to do this to build real wealth. And now our value has shifted from teaching you how to sell and help you sell to getting you out of the day-to-day business and focusing on wealth creation and the training and coaching behind all of that. So it's our whole thing is this is a gradual growth in your personal mindset. And we feel that we can plug in all of those spots throughout to help you continue to grow.
Last question. What if I'm not sure
And
what kind of
then
region I want?
after that.
That's just working through the conversations. And again, you're brand new, so a part of your business plan could be, let's try them all. All right.
So far, I've done. That's it.
Okay. Well, and that's easy enough. Like, okay, month 1, let's fill out your 411. Let's go do 4 open houses. Let's go door knock 3 neighborhoods. Let's hold an event. Let's do this. At the end of month 1, what'd you like? Well, I like doing this one and this one. Okay, well, let's cut the other ones out and do more of these 2.
So
That's part of the coaching on our side, is helping you get to that.
How do you split $0?
Does that make sense?
Okay,
Cool.
got you.
We'll go think about it. Let me know what other questions you come up with.
I sure will.
Cool.
Cool.
Hi.
Anna, officially.
I'm David. Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming.
I was telling Sherry, I came actually discouraged. I was like, oh, this is gonna cost money. I don't have any. So I was really.
The goal is not to have it cost you money.
Huh?
It's not to cost you money. We'll put more money into it to help you make money.
That was in my head already.
Cool.
I was just out in my head already. But I was like, you know what? Let me go and say.
Well, glad you made it.
I'm Nathan.
I'm David. Nice to meet you.
I just wanted to say, another thing that excites me.
Cool.
You talking about how when you were first licensed or selling, like you were more on the investment side and the reverse home buyer and all that stuff excites me. So I have more properties right now. And I can sit in like a room and underwrite deals for like 14 hours a day. And be super happy. And I realize there's more to it than just somebody sends you property and you buy the property and it doesn't meet their buy box and everything else. But being able to leverage that capacity is really exciting for me.
Well, it'll be super easy to help you figure out. You're good at that. Here's how you go sell houses because of,
Yeah.
because that's similar personality, it sounds like. So,
Yeah.
and then it's just like, okay, now you could do this. One, here's how you find the leads to find stuff to analyze, and here's how you go find the money to get the deals closed on your own now. Like, let's do this deal. You keep 60% of it, give the money behind it 40%. Everyone's happy. You made a lot of money. Maybe you don't need to sell 36 houses a year, but you probably will anyway.
Yeah,
Just how it works.
that'd be awesome.
When people start to realize that you can make them money, you will sell houses without it.
So, but that excites.
Well, good. Oh, good.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for coming. Nice to meet you.
That's a big cover.
What? We've met.
Yeah, I know.
Stay out of Lou's 20-year-old. Out of the babies. No, don't tell me that. Just do it and don't tell me. I don't care.
Actually, 2000, I know it's, you're probably not familiar with that, graduating high school.
I'm old. I'm old.
Yeah. That's awesome. But anyway, so I know you want to get out of that freshman building. This type of mentality is, and look, you said you were doing responsibility, yes, you did, we're not coaching last year. Address. Right now.
No, and the really that targeted. This is what we're doing because this is what the social is, and you have the conversation you that is excites me in that case. And now we're thinking different and this is group learning that like 21 wasn't ready to go for it. There's a 5, 3, 1, whatever it is. I go kind of ran through. Yeah, so but I'm excited that let's say you can't do this is what we're gonna do. My job responsibility and you figure out how that gets phased out. So I really am ready to have the recommendations. Been putting 35 or 40 this weekend, so I've got time to actually reduce that, and that's when it comes. Being strict there, so you can do more time.
Thanks for coming. Yeah.
Really cool.
I can take one because you're so much like a high school.
No.
It's very kind. He doesn't like all that, he works for Kaiser. He hates going to kind of Christmas party.
Yeah, I like it.
It's a free meal. It's a really nice free meal. Let's go. A lot of people, he doesn't, you talk to them like.
Yeah.
If somebody says, "There's no people on your phone," yeah, there's a reason. And then people all day long.
Uh-huh.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah. And again, you can do all this on your own. Like it's not, we're not rewriting anything.
Yes. I know. Because this.
And that's the kind of the metaphor that I like to use with how we do our coaching and accountability is we're gonna push you right to the edge of the cliff and hold our foot behind your back so that you can't back away, but we're not gonna push you. It's gonna be scary. You're gonna have to do stuff. And we're not gonna let you back away to safety. But we'll never push you too far where it knocks you out. So. Yeah.
You don't know what you can't do, you want to keep trying. That's all.
Good. Well, that's part of it is we're gonna push you. You gotta be willing to commit to this.
Yeah, you just want to say that. Maybe when she became a problem, I'm so sorry if I'm rude. Here.
Yeah.
Nobody gets there. But no, some.
But again, it's the whole like, I can't get 10 of you guys to $20 million in net worth if I'm not pushing you. Like, we got 5 years to get you to 20 million. It's not gonna be a fun ride all the time, but it's gonna be a ride. So if that's what you want, if that's the crazy ride you want to get on, I'm more than happy to hop in there with. Yeah.
Comes evening. Good, here with the command thing.
Yeah, I heard. Nick Junior's man, like email with the regional tech director, because it can do all this.
Okay, great.
So if he can figure it out, great. If not, we'll find something.
Okay.
I told her Salesforce would be one. We might want to look at it too. I don't know what you guys have looked at it. And she mentioned like Brevity and some of those ones.
Yeah, I just was gonna try to, I mean, Brevity and, like closed one may know different like time Canada, those all have really good out of the box integration, so it's super easy for us to pass.
No, I just have to two days. Command can do everything with all of us come up. So. Are you looking at? It's just like the getting it to the right spot, you know, the CRM. I think Savannah's a little bit confused because she just plugging in her team and like trying to pass it to her team and not understanding that if you just doesn't have world. So I told her I'd get you on the phone with him and see if he can figure it out, and if not, we'll figure out something.
Totally, I think I can find like a third party, like, I can find a hacky way if we want to just, if we want to build a landing page out of there, then we just use the bias. And so then if there's a bit kind of the data too.
Okay.
So.
I'll let you guys run with it. And do whatever you need to get it going. But I just know that I've been told 2 weeks ago that command can do all of that. So, well, at least you'll talk to the guy that does.
All right, well, appreciate it. Say hey.
Yeah, so this. I don't know how many will actually sign up. I'm guessing probably somewhere between 5 and 10 of them, and now the group to dive in, which is a lot.
Is there an email list? I would love to follow up with maybe her contact information and digital